What is up, my friends? How are we? It is Tuesday night. You are all very welcome along to the show. And as always, we're going to go through it all. Whatever it all is, we're going to go through it over the next couple of hours. Appreciate you guys dropping in. Loads for us to go through today because it looks like the window is starting to heat up for us. Not just with regards to outgoings, by the way. So we'll talk about all of that. Anything else you guys want to introduce into the chat, as always, just let us know. And yeah, thank you for coming in and giving up some of your evening to have a chat with me. We will be taking on Brentford this weekend, obviously, which is a game I'm very much looking forward to. Virgil van Dijk has just picked up his award for being in the Premier League Team of the Year as well, so congratulations to Virgil on that one. But it is going to be mainly dominated tonight by conversations around incomings and outgoings over the remaining 10 days of this summer's transfer window. So I hope you're all ready. As somebody said in the comments before we went live, strap yourselves in because there is a lot to go through and a lot that may happen over the next 10 days. Up top, if you're expecting me to give you definitive names right now and say to you things are 100% going to happen, well, outside of Georgi Mamardashvili, I don't really have any. So we'll talk about the possibilities, but I'm not going to pretend I know these names that are on Michael Edwards' list. I have not got a clue. So I'm hoping you can help me out a bit tonight as well. Let me get the first comment up of the night from Steve Rolls. How are you, bro? Welcome in. Said, evening, Craig. Love the content on Anfield Agenda. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Steve, and thank you for being an Anfield Agenda Ultras member, mate, for 12 months. Really, really is appreciated with your support of the channel, bro. Thank you. Also, Jen has gifted 5 Anfield Agenda memberships. Lovely way to kick us off, Jen. Thank you so much, my friend. Kipros said spoofers. Again, who's a spoofer? And I need more. These one-word comments drive me insane. Who's the spoofers? If you think the club are spoofers, say that. But these one-word things don't really add anything to the conversation, my man. If we want to call out people or discuss things, we've got to have a bit more information on that. Now, speaking of calling people out, I have a little bit of an issue with something Gary Neville did. I'll explain it to you in more detail in a couple of moments' time, but you've probably seen his predictions for the campaign. I'm going to address them in just 1 second. But before I do, a couple of super chats coming in that I want to get to. Callum, how are you, my man? Great show, Craig. Do you see Curtis Jones getting many minutes this season? I wouldn't be giving him any minutes if I was the manager, but he's certainly excited about the future in the Ireland slot. I got to be honest with you, I'm very hit and miss on Curtis Jones. I can see the appeal when all is going well, but I can also see the frustration when he holds on to the ball too long or the niggling little injuries stop him from really developing as a player. I'd sell him. That's the God's honest truth. I said something really out there with Jack on the podcast earlier on. I said I would have sold him over Bobby Clark. Over Bobby Clark. I'd have kept Bobby Clark and sold Jones. That's my honest opinion. I'm not saying he's a better footballer than Jones. I mean, he's not as developed as Jones. But yeah, I don't know what to think for Curtis Jones. I will give him his credit if he comes in and performs. I'm not a hater. I don't have an agenda against Curtis Jones. I've never seen enough to justify some of the hype that some people put around him personally. If possible, could we get your story when you retire? I don't know what that means. If you're talking about my story on what? My life? I've always wanted to do on the Happy Hour podcast, but Jack, mate, has never invited me on. And I don't know why. Maybe I'm not. I am big enough. I'm going to say I am damn well big enough now to be on the Happy Hour. So that's where I've always had this dream for myself, because I do want to tell my story, because I do think it can be, without trying to be arrogant, inspiring. And I think that's a platform I wanted to do it on. So I was always waiting for the old phone call from Jack mate Stevie, but it never came. So I'm sure we can talk about it at some point. But tonight, let's just stick to the football. As much as I do appreciate your support and your super chat, Mr. Suleiman Khan, thank you so much, mate. It's I have had an interesting life, to say the least. So yeah, there's a few funny stories in there. Right, Harry said, praying for Hincapie, wanted him for a while. Mint player. I'm going to be honest tonight, like I've said on the podcast with Jack, I don't know who's the favourite for a centre-back signing. Haven't got a clue. You're going to see Marc Guehi's name, Branthwaite's name, Inacio's name. Who else are we going to talk about? Hincapie's name, and a few others. And right now, if you gave me 50 quid to put it in the bookies, I wouldn't know where to put it. So I probably wouldn't put my money down. So that's where I am with regards to the centre-back. But maybe you guys have some names that you think are more likely or not. And of course, feel free to let us know. Joe Manning said, Craig, good to see you again. Becoming a regular now. Any updates on the mugs? Yes, we're picking up a batch tomorrow, Joe. We're also trialling another supplier to see what their ones are like, because one is dishwasher safe, one isn't. So yes, we're still trialling out a few different suppliers to make sure we can get the quality that will last you guys a while as well. So yes, they are moving along, and I'm picking up a batch tomorrow. Adzer, thanks for a conversation today. Is there any real truth to the Marc Guehi news? And Adzer, on the conversation, no problem, mate. Look, I'm somebody who always appreciates somebody reaching out to me. If there's an issue or something's happened, we'll try and sort it out. And you did that, and you were very polite and kind about it. So hence the responses you got in the polite, kind way you got them. But on the Marc Guehi stuff, I don't know if I'm corrupted on this because of my conversations with David Lynch. But when I did speak with David Lynch, it was made pretty clear to me that, from his understanding, the club had moved past Marc Guehi as an option because he wasn't strong enough aerially. Now, I respectfully disagreed with him at the time, and I would respectfully disagree now. Well, actually, I'm not disagreeing with him, am I? Because it's not his personal opinion. But I do think I'd happily have him. But will we pay 65 million? And will that be enough? Because remember, Newcastle have offered that, and they're still waiting for a response. So I truthfully have no clue as to which centre-back is most likely. Your guess at this point, mate, is as good as mine. Stevie boy, it's taken Hughes a month to sign a keeper. How the hell is he going to get deals done in 10 days? So, if I'm to put on my optimistic hat, Stevie boy, and I don't wear the optimistic hat too often with regards to transfers, I would suggest that there might be a domino effect about to happen. A few deals involving other clubs, incomings and outgoings, might trigger a chain of events that see a couple of things happen for us. I would not be surprised to see that at all. Like Sepp Vandenberg as an example. You would imagine if Liverpool are going to let Sepp Vandenberg and potentially Joe Gomez go, that you'd have to have some replacements ready. You know, you can't lose the two of them and not bring anybody in. So I'm intrigued to see what happens with Joe. Does he stay? Does he go? If I'm being honest with you, I want him to stay. I really like Joe Gomez. Gary Smith, thank you for the 5 gifted Anfield Agenda memberships, mate. Appreciate that. Right, quickly want to get back to, and I'll get to Tobias' super chat in a second. I just want to quickly go on to this Gary Neville bit for a second, because I was looking last night, Monday Night Football, and Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher did their predictions for the season ahead. So Jamie Carragher has Man City winning the league. Gary Neville has Arsenal winning the league. No problems with either of those predictions. Jamie has his 2nd, 3rd and 4th place as Arsenal, Liverpool and Spurs. Neville's lost his goddamn mind. Gary's gone for Manchester City, Manchester United and Chelsea to be 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Liverpool 5th and Spurs 6th. But here's the kicker with what Gary Neville's done. They were asked for their impact signing of the season. Jamie Carragher has gone for Pedro Neto at Chelsea. But here's what doesn't make sense. Gary Neville has gone for his impact signing to be Dominic Solanke, who of course went from Bournemouth to Spurs. So you're probably saying, well, that's not a big stretch, Craig. He could have a very good season. He could. But if you're predicting him to be the impact signing from the whole league and still predicting Spurs to finish 6th, which is the place below where they finished last year, where's the impact? Professional paid pundit gives his predictions, has Spurs in 6th, and yet thinks the player that's going to have the biggest impact of anybody signed this summer is going to cause them to go backwards. Make that make sense. I will happily take his wage at Sky to go on there and actually give some balanced insight, because there's no way when he puts his little Gary Neville head down on his little Gary Neville pillow with his little Gary Neville pyjamas on, that Gary Neville believes Manchester United are finishing ahead of Liverpool. He will want it to happen, which is understandable. But what gives him an indication that United are better than us? The whooping they got in pre-season, which doesn't really matter, or the fact that they looked very laboured again in their first game. He is delusional. Absolutely delusional. So yeah, strengthen the team by going backwards. Got it, Gary. Cheers. Right, Tobias, I did say I'd get to your super chat next. Do you think Branthwaite will happen? No, I don't. I'd love it to happen. I would take him tomorrow, and it would be one of the greatest signings we've made in recent times, in my opinion. But unless Everton are really, 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 really up shit's creek and need money, imagine the fume if they sold him to us. Their fan base would absolutely go into meltdown, and I wouldn't blame them. But that's also why I'd like to see it happen. Imagine we got him and Anthony Gordon. Because, and I kid you not, I've read comment sections with Everton fans saying that they got rid of Anthony Gordon because he wasn't good enough for Everton. Okay, lads, whatever you have to say, no problem. You keep believing that. Anthony Doyle said, in all seriousness, can you make sure your mugs are dishwasher safe? I'm trying to. That's why I'm trying another supplier, mate, because the initial ones that we got aren't dishwasher safe, but are really nice. So the other ones are dishwasher safe. I just need to see what the quality of them are like. So, yeah. So on Gary Neville, make that make sense, please. So Virgil van Dijk, and thank you, Mark, for sending this on, now has 4 appearances in the PFA Player of the Year or Team of the Year, with Rio Ferdinand the only centre-back in Premier League history to have more. So, again, Virgil gets into the Premier League Team of the Year, but we still haven't offered him a new deal. It's pretty clear he's not going backwards. He's still at the very highest level. So please get the finger out and give him a new deal. Is Inacio just smoke or real interest? I find it hard to believe that the Inacio stuff is true. You know, again, myself and Jack spoke about it on today's podcast, which I think is up right now. If you have a chance to listen to it, let me know. But he's used to playing in a back three. He wasn't all that good in the Euros. It just doesn't make sense that we would have dragged it out this long if he was the target. So for me, if I was a guessing person, or if I was having to put a bet down here, I wouldn't be putting my money on him anyway. But that's just my opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right. It's just how I see the situation with Inacio. I just don't think he's that guy. But then again, I don't know who the guy is. Don't forget Neville was Valencia manager. That says it all. Also criticises other teams for getting rid of managers. But Salford have gone through loads. Yes, they have gone through quite a few. Look, I like Gary Neville's style of presenting, and I give him all his credit for the great work he's done on Monday Night Football. Because truly it is. I think he is one of the best pundits out there. But he doesn't half talk a load of shite when it comes to some of the United stuff. Especially when it comes to us and them. There's no world that exists where anybody with any type of sensibility thinks that United are finishing above us this season. I don't see it, I'm sorry. Craig, a new number 6 is identified in the Portuguese league. Let's hope it happens. I've not seen anything to suggest that. Everything I've read suggests that we won't see a number 6 brought in before the window shuts. I definitely don't agree with that. You know, I'd love one to come in, but I'm not aware of one. Ian Doyle of the Echo has said, could Liverpool reignite their previous interest in Anthony Gordon? It's not beyond the realms of possibility as things stand with Mohamed Salah set to leave at the end of the season. So, I promised our Discord I'd do a poll tonight, and let me tell you why. You're going to say, hang on Craig, it's hardly breaking news that you're going to do a poll. Okay, fair enough, but something bugged me. So, Betfair have carried out a survey with YouGov, and asked more than 2,000 football fans how happy they are about their current club's ownership. And according to this poll, 69% of Liverpool fans agreed that they're happy with the owners of Liverpool. So I want to pose that question tonight to the audience. Not about transfers, overall ownership. Because I disagree with that 69% very, very strongly. I don't think in any world 69% of Liverpool fans are happy with the owners. So let's ask you guys. Simple question. Are you happy with FSG as owners? No, I don't know why I'm doing a Q&A here instead of a poll. Let me just copy and paste that. Let me get a poll up instead. There we go. Sorry, that was my bad, folks. There we go. Are you happy with FSG as owners? It's a simple yes or no question, and we're going to leave that running until the stream is over, and then we'll come back and revisit it and see if it tallies up with that Betfair YouGov poll that seems to think that almost 70% of Liverpool fans are happy with the current owners. Yeah, let's see if it tallies up. So, somebody emailed me a really interesting piece of information. Somebody raised it to me the other day on the stream, and I never did look into it, but they kindly sent me a link. And it was about Liverpool taking on more investment at the end of 2023, September 2023 to be precise. I'm going to read you a piece, I believe it's from The Guardian, and it might give us another insight into the codology or the spooferiness of these owners. Fenway Sports Group has sold a minority stake in Liverpool to a US private equity firm, Dynasty Equity. The deal ends FSG's search for investment, here's the kicker, and will be used to pay off debts. FSG and Dynasty, an investment firm that specialises in buying minority stakes in sports franchises, have not revealed the exact financial details, but it's believed to be between $100 and $200 million. The investment does not equate to a transfer war chest for the manager. It will pay down bank debt incurred during the pandemic, capital expenditure on the new Anfield Road end, and the AXA training facility, as well as the repurchasing of Melwood. So they sold another stake for $100 to $200 million last year, roughly a year ago, to pay down some of the debt for the likes of the Annie Road end. And again, my question is, where's the fucking money, John? Because if you've repaid down the debt, you've got the extra bums in seats, you've got the between 5,500 and 6,500 per person plus VAT hospitality season ticket prices. So where's the money going? Because we know that they've got about 550 million from Redbird Capital for 11% of all of FSG's holdings. Now we know they've taken on between 100 and 200 million in more financing to sell off some of their own debt, or to move off some of their own debt. Again, they're paying back themselves. Where's the money for transfers? How are the club benefiting from them selling down their shares? In what way is this going to help us? I'll give you a hint. It won't. It won't. But they've basically now repaid themselves for the Annie Road end, while you and I are still paying for it, and everybody else is still paying for it, and will continue to pay for it. So, to those people who bow down and lick the boots of John W. Henry, make that make sense for me. Please, God, make it make sense. More proof, in my opinion, that it's not about Liverpool not having money, it's about them not spending money. Right, next super chat from Adam Brown. Craig, you're looking absolutely glorious. Well, thank you. Freshly shaved head from all of 10 minutes ago, or, well, 10 minutes before the stream. Are we likely to see any signings after the Georgian Alisson is done? I like what you've done there. The Georgian Allison, I like it. Yes, I believe so. So I think we get Mamardashvili done. I think we get another signing done. Yes, I do. I don't have a clue who it is or what position, but I well believe we'll get one in. Even in my angry, frustrated self, I believe we'll get one in. I don't know who it's going to be, though. Interestingly, on this deal, actually, and thank you for raising it, Adam, Liverpool have come to a compromise, it seems, with Valencia. And I think my reading of it is this. So Liverpool are going to agree a deal of about €30 million with Valencia for Georgi Mamardashvili, which will see him stay in Spain for a year. Now, I wonder, is this Liverpool's way of pacifying Valencia and not having to spend the 40 million they wanted? Loan him back to that club for a year, allow him to stay there, call it a kind of loan fee discount, and then Liverpool pay €30 million and he comes in next year. That's where this deal looks like it's headed, and I'm okay with that. You know, I would have preferred him to gain some Premier League experience, and I'm sure Bournemouth would have loved to have taken him there for the season. But if it saves Liverpool €10 million and he still goes on loan and plays at the club that he's at now, that's a win-win for me. I'll take that. So it looks like €30 million will be the fee, and if it gets it done, it gets it done. So yeah, that's one that I'm definitely happy with. Tanya, how are you, Tanya? Said, David seems to think Liverpool will renew contracts after the window closes. I believe Gomez will go to Newcastle with a deal to get Gomez. What's your view? So, look, what David said is absolutely possible. There's every chance that deals are tied up in the next 4 to 5 months. Well, not even that, 3 to 4 months. But it's still a risky strategy, because what we can't allow to happen is this to drag on into the January market. Because at that point, all three of these guys, Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold, could all sign pre-contract agreements to leave Liverpool and wouldn't even have to tell the club about it. They would be free agents technically at the end of the season. So once they're signing for a club outside of the Premier League, they could sign a pre-contract agreement in January. So I hope that they do get them sorted. But I'm not going to rest until I know that at least Virgil and Trent are signed up, because I don't really have too much hope of Mohamed Salah signing a new deal. As much as I think most of us would agree, he certainly has 2 or 3 years left at the highest level. I meant we got Gordon. Klopp left due to no funds. I don't know why Jurgen left. I can only take him at his own words and said he was tired and he couldn't give his all to the club anymore, and that's okay, you know. What's this? Total contract years remaining. Wow. So Sky have done this thing where they've done the total years of contract clubs have remaining for their players on staff, and Chelsea's doesn't even fit on the page. It's that big. It's like treble, nearly, the next highest, which is mental. No surprises there, though, because we do know that Chelsea have 191 years is the amount of years Chelsea have left on player contracts. Liverpool, for example, are at 64. I think it is, Mark. Is that 64? Yeah, Liverpool are at 64. Chelsea are at 194. So there you go. I'd take Ivan Toney, yes. I don't know if I would. One, he's getting on. What is he, 28 now, Ivan Toney? He is in the last year of his Brentford deal, so Brentford are going to want to try and cash in, and it looks like there could be a move, at least last time I checked, over to Saudi for Ivan Toney, but I don't think we need Ivan Toney. I'd rather somebody younger if we were to look at the forward market. So let's check in on our poll, shall we? The poll that we asked, are you happy with FSG as owners? Now remember, we're supposed to believe that the YouGov poll conducted showed that 69% of Liverpool fans were overall happy with the ownership. Our poll says 29% so far are happy, with 71% unhappy. And we'll leave that running for the remainder of the stream, and we'll give you the results at the end of it. Nevelyn said, would you give Salah 350k for 3 years? No. But I give it for 2 with an option for the club for a third. That I would do, Nevlin. I think 2 years is the safe number. And if you gave yourself an option of a third year, I wouldn't say no. I just don't think he's deserving of an increase in wages. But if the club could keep a deal or strike a deal to keep him for 2 more years, I would absolutely agree that he is capable of playing 2 more years at the top level. Yes, I would be on board with that 100%. Yeah, no problem with that. Even at 350, I'd say, okay, fair enough. If you can keep Mo for 2 more years at 350, I would be more than happy. But I don't know if that's going to happen. You know, I don't know what is in Mo's future, whether he wants to move to Saudi for lifestyle purposes. I have no idea. Carl said, as long as it doesn't turn out like Keita. Yeah, that was a really disappointing one, wasn't it? Because I really liked Naby Keita. Really excited when we'd agreed that deal with Leipzig for him, and it just did not work out at all. Not one bit, did it? Right, so bear with me here. I'm getting my notes. Reece Williams has gone on loan to Morecambe for 6 months, or at least till the January window. So that's one that we can say has moved out at the moment. Sepp Vandenberg, this is getting very interesting now. I have to say, give credit where it's due, holding out for Sepp Vandenberg's fee seems to have been a masterstroke. Because remember at the start of the window, we were hearing 5 million, 6 million, 8 million. Nobody willing to go near Liverpool's valuation of 20 million. Now, there's actually a chance we might get 20 to 25 million. Because there's a couple of clubs looking at him. Brentford, I believe, are one of them. Bayer Leverkusen, according to Florian Plettenberg, are another one. He said Bayer Leverkusen have made contact with Liverpool about a potential deal for Sepp Vandenberg, and Liverpool are demanding £25 million now. David Ornstein said, exclusive, Sepp Vandenberg close to leaving Liverpool, set to achieve 20 million plus valuation. Brentford strongly considering the 22-year-old alongside the likes of the centre-backs they already have there, long-term admirers and solid relations with Liverpool. Boom. Fair play. I do love a high-risk, high-reward strategy when it pays off. And if Edwards can bring in 20 to 25 million for Vandenberg, that is fair money. And it certainly leaves less of a sour taste in the mouth than 8 or 9 million. So let's see what happens. But it's not too shabby. Of course, we're well aware we need reinforcements, though. We can't just let people go out the door and not bring in replacements. Alan Malone, thank you, bro. So got my tickets for the show for me and my lad Craig. Can't wait to see you and the crew there. Thank you so much, Alan. I can't wait to come and meet you guys as well. I've already given out some tickets to people who've reached out to us, and I can't wait. The tickets are on sale right now, by the way, and I promise you one thing. I am not moving it into the bigger venue because I think we're going to record this show. That's how big we're trying to go with it. So if you were going to come along to see us in November, there's a 224 seat capacity in the venue, and I'm not moving it out of there because I want the place full. We want to record it. We're going to have music. We're going to have a comedy set, and then we're going to have ourselves, and we are going to put on an amazing show. So if you want to come along and see us, it's an all ages event. You can get your tickets with the link, and yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. I'm already really looking forward to it, and it's in November. Danny LaRue, let me get your super chat up on screen. My amazing friend, how are we? 1 second. Hey Craig, love the channel, mate. Is there any news on young Stefan Bajcetic? I'm sure I heard he wants to stay and fight for his position. I don't know anything for certain. You've probably seen the same as me, Danny, that there are... let me read something out to you that might make a bit more sense. Hang on, mate. Let me just grab my notes and read something out to you here. Where's Piercy's comments? Come on, where are they? So there's a list of players that James Pearce has given a bit of a breakdown of and what might happen. I'm just trying to find my list here. No. How is it not here? Come on, where is it? Anyway, a loan looks likely for him, mate. Sorry, here we go. So this piece said, it promises to be a busy end to the window in terms of outgoings as Liverpool consider offers for players such as Nat Phillips, Sepp Vandenberg, Ben Doak, so again, open to selling Ben Doak, and Nat Phillips and Tyler Morton. So they're all players that Liverpool are open to selling. He goes on to say, while Kate Gordon, Stefan Bajcetic and Owen Beck have all been attracting loan interest. So if Stefan wants to stay and fight for his place, I'm absolutely on board with that. But I do think if we can bring in a body, it's probably the best thing for him to go and gain a full year experience of playing and build up that fitness again. But that's all I know at the minute, mate. That's all I know. Matthew in Sweden said, how can Reds fans view FSG so differently? It depends who they ask. So looking at that poll, it says 2,000 football fans were surveyed. It didn't say 2,000 Liverpool fans were surveyed. It said 2,000 football fans were surveyed, and then they broke down the Liverpool section of it. So all I can assume is if 2,000 people were surveyed, they must have surveyed 100 people from the 20 different Premier League clubs. That's your 2,000 people. So if 100 Liverpool fans were surveyed, which ones were surveyed? Geographically, where are they from? And as you said, how do you get to a figure of 69% showing that they're happy when that is a long way from the numbers that we see in our brief polls on here? Now, I'm aware that my audience are probably more critical of the owners than other audiences, but from people I've spoken to on any side of this debate, at the very best, people are okay with the owners. Happy? I don't know of many happy people that support FSG's business. So, yeah, it is a strange one. Nevelin said, what's views on what Ornstein said about Hughes? And I'm going to need the actual information, mate. I don't know what he said about Richard Hughes. Yes, have I missed something here, mate? Honestly, I'm not sure. I'm going through my notes just to figure out if this is something I'm being really dense on, or... Yeah, I've no idea. Yeah, sorry, mate. I don't know what you mean by that, or I don't know what the comments are. Who's the worst three signings of the Klopp era? Said Adam Brown. Keita. Adrian. Can't say that one because it'll get me in trouble. Karius probably would be my other one. The one I wanted to say was Shaqiri, but I'm aware that I'm in the minority on my views on Shaqiri and Liverpool. So that would be the three that I would say would be the worst, mate. Two of them being goalkeepers, ironically. Arthur Mello. I don't include loan signings, by the way, as a real signing. So the Arthur Mello stuff or the Stephen Corker stuff, I wouldn't include those as proper signings because they were just loans. Same with Kabak, he was just a loan as well. I don't hold people to the same account if they get a loan signing wrong as I would say if they splashed out a ton of cash on one. Ornstein has said Hughes is magic. Obviously he gets all his info from Hughes. Do they think we're stupid? Huh. Rory said they played for the side. Bro, I'm just telling you how I interpret these things. I'm not saying you're wrong. If you think that counts as a signing, that's sound. I'm just giving you my take on it. So, David Ornstein, speaking with NBC Sports, said, credit to Richard Hughes. I'm hearing really good things about him. I'm trying to choose my words really carefully because I have no interest in going in on Richard Hughes. None. But I don't know how any of us could have a really glowing perception of Richard Hughes based off what we've publicly seen so far. We don't know what he's doing behind the scenes, but all we know for a fact is that they messed up the Zubamendi deal, that nobody's been given a contract extension yet, and that we've not brought in a single player in the window. So, I mean, obviously David Ornstein knows a lot of stuff that I don't know, but I just find it hard to be overly praising of Richard Hughes with nothing to sample. No work to really look at. You know, I want him to be a success, and I have trust in Michael Edwards' selection of Richard Hughes, and I do think he will show his value, but I think it's a stretch to start talking about him in glowing terms when there's not really anything to look at yet. Brown nosing for me. Well, look, you've got to understand that journalists kind of, I guess, would have to probably play the game a little bit there, you know, to make sure. But nobody's getting anything out of Liverpool. And that's one thing that me and Jack discussed on the pod today. It was like, we can throw centre-back names out there to beat the band, but not one journalist I'm aware of has given an actual definitive name that Liverpool are going after with any conviction. You've seen lots of stuff about Fabrizio Romano, and by the way, he's been absolutely posting the most recycled, vague bullshit. Oh, Liverpool are working behind the scenes with agents, talking, communications are open. Just say you don't know, mate. It's fine. The club keeps stuff close to their chest. Just fucking say it, Fabrizio. Just say, I haven't got a clue. It's okay. Nobody's going to go in on you for that. It's better than this vague nonsense that just shows up that you really don't know about Liverpool. And that's okay. Liverpool are pretty good at keeping stuff close to their chest, but Jesus Christ, like some of these lads, you've seen me come on here and say, I haven't got a clue. I have no idea. Why are people so afraid to say that? I know that they've got to keep things ticking along and play the game and all, but just come out and say it. Like, I don't know. And also here, I don't know, but I do know that you can have my Here We Go Kylian Mbappe t-shirt for a mere $49.95 with a stray face for a fucking t-shirt of a tweet. 50 quid. Genuinely. Imagine I came out here tomorrow and said, lads, I've done it. I've got the Here We Go John t-shirts ready. The best Fruit of the Loom can offer, and you can have them for just 50 quid. Every single one of you would tell me to go and take a jump off a you know what, and rightly so, because it's absolutely scandalous. So, if I was somebody else who was in that industry of printing and manufacturing, I'd start selling them for 50 quid, for 15 quid just to piss him off. You know, just put his tweet on the t-shirt and sell it. 50 quid, 15 quid, no problem. Bing bang bosh. I'd love to meet somebody in real life who's paid £50 or €50 for a Here We Go Kylian Mbappe t-shirt. I honestly would, because the first thing I'd say to them is, hello dum dum, you do know you could have just brought that tweet into a t-shirt shop and they'd have printed it for you for cost price, right? There's nothing special about putting a tweet onto a t-shirt. It's not particularly difficult. Any shop will do it for you, and they won't charge you 50 quid for it. But hey, here we go. Romano is bordering on discredibility. Bordering. Okie doke. For me, I've said this all the... I don't like him. I don't like what he is. Because I don't know what he is. He's not a journalist. He doesn't serve to write articles for papers. And he's a mouthpiece for hire, is the way I look at Romano. Now, clearly a lot of agents and a lot of clubs are willing to give him the information. But I view that as a problem to the football industry rather than something to be happy about. I'm more happy than ever when Liverpool do a deal that we know nothing about. They're the days I live for. But the likes of Romanos in this world, I don't see how they benefit football. I just see that they stir the pot, do certain people's bidding, and just try and cream money off it. Now look, everyone needs to make a living. I'm not against that. But imagine having the barefaced cheek to spend or to sell a €50 here we go t-shirt. I mean, God almighty. Paul Joyce also saying Liverpool are set to bank 20 million plus from the sale of Sepp Vandenberg. Brentford looking to see off interest from elsewhere, including Leverkusen. Now, again, this has taken a bit of a leap. But if we're interested in Piero Hincapie, and again, all I can say is he's a name that's been reported because I don't know. If we are interested in Hincapie, and if Bayer Leverkusen are interested in Sepp Vandenberg, then surely there's something to be done there. It would be a good move for Sepp. He'd be going across to the Bundesliga, Champions, a league he knows well from his time there with Mainz and whatnot. So I'm sure he'd be open to that possibility, and he'd be working with Alonso. And it would give us the opportunity to get a centre-back in. So that's what I'm talking about these deals that may trigger other deals. I'm intrigued to see what happens. But the only thing that can't happen is nothing over the next 10 days. How much do you think a football top should be? Said Carl. Do you mean a jersey? Like a football jersey? £60 feels like about the top whack I think a football jersey should cost. £60 seems on the high side of reasonable, but £80, £125, you're getting into just... You're basically pushing people towards buying fakes at that point. It's just ridiculous. He meant signing. What? I don't know what that's about, mate. Sorry. Carl definitely didn't mean signing when he said a football top. Craig, Fabrizio Romano will message you saying we all know nothing about football, generalising. And then he will be told to kiss my glorious ass because I don't care what Romano has to say. Couldn't give a damn. Genuinely. Yeah, don't care. I probably would even reply to his nonsense, to be fair. Craig, I've seen one post suggesting that our transfer budget is less than last summer due to the 3 signings we had made. So, my understanding of the way Liverpool conduct business, and again, it's a very simplistic way to look at it, is that we don't really have a budget every year. It's more a case of we have targets and we look at whether those targets fall into certain parameters of the way we like to do business. For an example, if it's the number 1 target on a list and it ticks every box and the selling club is a willing sell, maybe we pay the top whack. After that, I don't know. I truly don't know of any summer under the ownership of FSG where there has been a kitty with a certain amount in it. Because that doesn't really make sense. Because let's say you're going on holidays, right? And I give you some spending money. So you're going over to Ibiza for a week and I give you £5,000 for the week. You're going to go and spend £5,000 because you've got £5,000. But if I said to you, go and do whatever you want to do, enjoy yourself and see how it all pans out, and justify everything that you do, you're probably going to spend less money. So the idea of giving somebody a transfer budget just basically says to them, you're free to spend all of this. And I don't think that's a sensible way to approach any market. You obviously have to have a threshold at which you can't really go above, unless you add to it with sales. But I've never known of a number that any of the managers have been given. Jack Zapper said, the only language FSG will understand is empty stadiums and that of reduced club values, FSG out. But 69% of the Liverpool fans are happy with them, Jack. There must be a very specific 69%, because not 69% I know of. And you're right. But, and there is a small caveat, mate. My biggest gripe with FSG is always in the transfer windows. When we come to the time of September the 1st until the January window opens, I probably won't talk very much about the owners because they're irrelevant to me at that point. It's about what we can do on the pitch, what we can achieve, what we can win. And yes, if we start to have an injury crisis, we'll revert back to why we didn't do enough business. But there's still chance to save this window. I just don't have very much faith that we're going to do it. But I'm not going to be a hypocrite if by the time that the clock strikes 11 p.m. on August the 30th, we've brought in a centre-back and a midfielder. I'll be the first one to say, okay, job done. We brought at least the targets I think we needed assessed, sorted. But we don't have any indication of that yet, do we? All we know is we missed out on a player and we've been vaguely linked with some more. The Detective, thank you so much, mate, as always, for your very kind super chat. Said, ownership performance is dictated by success. FSG have done great commercially, but the field under their ownership, on the field under their ownership, we only have one Champions League, one Premier League. Being conservative in the transfer market cost us more success. So I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit, but still agree with you. Is it conservative, or have we procrastinated ourselves to death, overthinking stuff? Are we trying to be too clever? As an example, most people would know that Zubimendi was going to be a very difficult fella to get out of Sociedad. So you would assume if you were going in to go for him, you'd have to have a backup option. And it doesn't look like we do. And that for me has been more of a determining factor for why I'm angry during the transfer windows, because it's this, we won't settle for second best, but they also won't pay for the best. So where do we fall in that? You know, it's confusing. We hear we're able to get generational talent, but then Lenny Yoro comes up and we're told, well, we can't give him guarantees over minutes or we won't pay his wages. But he's a generational talent, no? I'm confused by a lot of the business, mate. And you are right, there's been underinvestment in the playing squad. Whether you look at that from a financial standpoint or a squad depth standpoint, that has cost us. It definitely has. There should be another 3 or 4 trophies in the cabinet from the Jurgen Klopp era if we had enough squad depth. Craig, love the show. Thank you so much, Robert. Said LFC plus Arna Ball equals success. Now that, sir, I am on board with. Yeah, look, Arne Slot, I said it all summer. I'm going to say it again. I just want that man to be given the tools to do his job, because I strongly believe he'll do it very, very well. And that belief has only been reinforced based off what I've seen at halftime of the Ipswich game. I love that. Now, others might say it's harsh and it was a difficult situation for young Jarell Kwanzaa to be in. That's fair. But Jarell Kwanzaa will come again. The manager will put his arm around him and explain it to him. Everybody has a bad day. We all like Jarell Quansah and we all believe in the kid. But when he made the change, he was right to, and he got the result. And we played some absolutely scintillating football in that second half. We all bought the Warrior kits, so New Balance took over sponsorship and we didn't buy them as much. I did. I have to say, Till Sheen, I loved New Balance's stuff at Liverpool. Loved it. I've bought some of the trainers, loads of the hoodies, the blackout jerseys. I bought loads of New Balance stuff, as I did with Warrior as well, to be fair. I just haven't really liked the Nike stuff too much, especially when I look across at PSG and see the Air Jordan gear, and I just think, imagine that. And also, I don't know how to explain this, but it never felt like a good fit culturally. Liverpool and Nike, Liverpool and Adidas. When we get back to them next year, I'm going to be a very poor man, because I'll be buying a lot of Liverpool stuff with Adidas on board. Darren Stone, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, my friend. Appreciate you. Canade or Quansah against Brentford? I'd probably say stick with Canade, because I would expect a similar type of physicality from Brentford. You know, they're going to look to use their aerial prowess. They're going to look to create overloads. They're going to look to open space through the middle. And I think I would probably stick with Canade for that game, because I expect it to be a similar physical battle. Tony Hoare said, almost every transfer window we get misled. Yes, sir. Yeah, and there's always an excuse, though. That's the thing, mate. There's always an excuse as to why something doesn't happen, or why it'll happen in the future. And some people just believe it, and some people don't. I definitely am in the I'm fed up of listening to excuses category with regards to transfers. Tony won't be playing. I know, I never said he was. I just said they're going to have physicality. They've got big fellas in that team. And yes, Ivan Toney looks like he could be about to move on. But even without Ivan Toney, there's still going to be a big physical team. Only fair Brentford, give us some Buemo. What's this one? So Fulham are apparently another option who are now off the table for Joe Gomez. I have to say, I still don't know if I think Gomez leaves or not. I'm on the fence about it. I can definitely understand why others would want him. I can totally see the appeal. But I don't really get the big plus for us selling him. You know, he's a utility player that, as we've mentioned numerous times, can play in any position on the back line. Ali McCoy has been speaking about the Joe Gomez situation as well, and Ali said, I think he would be a good signing for anyone. I think he'd be a good signing for Villa, a good signing for Newcastle. I'd be surprised if Liverpool let him go at this moment in time. I really would. He can play anywhere across the back line. That gives him a great appeal, particularly with clubs I think he would be well suited to, Newcastle and indeed Villa. But I would be really surprised if Liverpool let him go. I can't disagree with anything Ali McCoy said there. I agree with everything, including the clubs that he think will be a good fit for Joe Gomez. Villa and Newcastle, he'd do really, really well at. But I also agree with, I don't understand selling him, unless Joe has made it really clear that he wants to go, and maybe Arna has said, you're going to have limited opportunities. I don't know. Look, I'm guessing here. But I think it would be a big hole in the squad to fill. Asantino, how are you, bro? Said, hot take, like the New Balance stuff, then Adidas, end of the contract year. Again, why do we listen to journalists knowing the Edwards Hughes model? Exactly. Particularly knowing that Michael Edwards is extremely keen on keeping things under wraps and keeping people, only a limited amount of people in the loop. So I don't think anybody is really getting properly briefed from Liverpool, and I'm very happy about that. That's why I find some of these journalists, I get they have to fill column inches. I get it. I'm the same here. I have to make videos. We have to get people in. We have to say what we have to say. But there's something refreshing about hearing somebody say that they don't know. That bit of honesty, I think, can actually add to somebody's profile or reputation. You know, for instance, I went and said a lot about James Pearce, saying that as it stands, Liverpool aren't in the market to bring in a goalkeeper in September or in this summer market. And we all knew that was untrue. He probably knew that that was untrue. And I don't understand why he wrote what he wrote. Because he's a really, really lovely man. And he's honest. And he's sincere. Why write that? Because it's only going to damage his reputation. And I hate to see that happen to somebody like James Pearce, who's covered Liverpool and been very friendly towards fans, fan content over the years. I've the height of respect for him, which is why I didn't understand it when it happened, and I don't understand it now. Because everybody knew that we were looking at Mamardashvili. It was clear. Let me just get this one up on screen. And thank you to everyone, by the way, who's sending in super chats and stuff. It's extremely kind of you all. Who's going to be a top 3 signings if you become Liverpool owner tomorrow? Ederson. See, it depends how much money I have as an owner. Ederson, Antonio Silva, trying to think of who I'd replace Salah with. Honestly, I don't know for the attacker. So I'm going to go for a fullback, and I'm going to go for ENQUIRIES. But then again, my view could absolutely change if I had access to the data that the transfer and recruitment side, and of course the scouts, would have. I'm somebody who will have an opinion, but I'm always open to being corrected in my opinion if somebody shows me a reason why I'm wrong. Whether that's somebody in our chat or whether that's a journalist. I'm not a pig-headed, closed-minded person most of the time. Stargirl. Surprised the owners never did what they did with LeBron James for Taylor Swift when she played at Anfield. I'm not a Swiftie, but she generates money. I'm only joking, don't worry, Craig. Look, she absolutely does. And what I would say about Taylor Swift is something that I'm not anywhere on her musical talent. I like some of her stuff. I don't like a lot of her stuff. I don't know a lot of her stuff. But one thing that always strikes me about Taylor Swift is the community and the love of her fans together. How they treat each other. How they put themselves out into the world. When those concerts were cancelled recently, they still met up in the city centre in these cities. That impact is only a good thing. And I love that. I love that there are people like Taylor Swift who've created those environments and groups for young people to be accepting, loving, free. It's great. More power to her. I think we'll get Inacio, said Phil Cox. It's looking likely. Though if Sepp goes to Alonso, then maybe Hincapie is leaving. I really don't feel... My gut feeling on Inacio is that we don't go for him. Maybe it's because I feel like we could have done it earlier in the window. And if you're Sporting Lisbon right now, you know he's got a €60 million release clause. There was some chatter that they were willing to take £38 million. But as the end of the window approaches, they're going to need to replace him. And that in itself will factor in probably more money involved. So I don't think if it's Inacio, waiting around has helped in any way. Whereas at least with Hincapie, you could say, well, if Bayern wants Sepp, maybe they're open to it. I don't know. I I don't have a gut feeling that Inacio's that guy, but I don't know as well. Craig, you're a liar. You said you're 40, but you look 32. No, I said I'm 42. I'm 43 next month. But I'll take looking 32, mate. That's that no problem with that. But now I'm 42. I'm 43 next month. Have I seen the Sepp news? Which bit? The fact that he's available for £20 million and Brentford and Leverkusen are interested, if that's the latest news I have on Mr. Vandenberg. 38 million, we're still sitting here waiting around. What in the name of garbage are we doing, said Bruno. Again, Bruno, we don't know that he is definitively the target, my man. If he is, I'm with you. Why are we waiting around? But I'm really intrigued to see who it is that we're looking at centre-back. Genuinely. It wouldn't surprise me if it was someone we've spoken about, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was somebody we've never spoken about. Ah, okay, so let me just get this up on screen from Adam, and thank you, Adam, for sending this across, and of course for your super chat. So Adam has said, the Telegraph are saying 25 million agreed for Brentford and Bayer Leverkusen. Wow. I'm just smiling because what a long way that is from Eindhoven not being willing to get to even 10 or 12, and Mainz thinking they could have had him, I think it was 5.5 million or something. And now we're here with potentially 2 offers in excess of 20 million quid. Well played, Mr. Edwards and Mr. Hughes. But from our perspective as fans, we're seeing a player going for decent money, but we need to see a player brought in to kick the squad on. Essex cop bite. Oh, great news. Great news. Mum slowly on the mend, being kept in for observations. Thanks all. That is brilliant news, mate, on your mum. I know you said yesterday she went through with a bleed on the brain. And I was genuinely thinking about you last night, hoping that you got some good news. So thank you for sharing that with us, mate. And please do pass their best regards on to your mum as well. We hope she makes a full and quick recovery. Danny LaRue said, totally with you on the Antonio Silva show, Craig. Imagine him coming in and learning from VVD for a season or two. It'd be incredible. It would be incredible. And he hasn't really been spoken about too much in the English media. But I was alerted to him by a Spanish scout 3 years ago and said, watch this guy. He's going to be something special. I know Guardiola had been keeping tabs on him, but if you could get him in, it'd be brilliant. Phil said, Sepp goes for 30 mil in the end and Gomez goes for 50 mil. That would be nice. I mean, look, even if Gomez went for 25 mil, or sorry, Sepp went for 25 mil and Gomez for 45 mil, that's still 50, 70 million, plus the 20 million after we pay Fulham their share from Carvalho. That's about 70, plus the 8 million or so from Solanke, so that's 78. Am I missing another sale? Oh yeah, the money we're going to get for Bobby Clark's another 10. So that's nearly 90 million. Plus the wages that were saved. Plus the wages that were saved from the lads who were out of contract. And you're certainly looking at a significant amount of money. What's this then? So again, as you've said, mate, correctly, thank you. It's been sent to me now from Connor. Anfield Sector posted breaking. Both Bayer Leverkusen and Brentford have agreed £25 million deals with Liverpool for Sepp Vandenberg. The player now must decide which club he wants to join. So let's guess. Where's he going? If I'm him, I'm going to Leverkusen. Because, one, he knows the league. He likes the league. He's spoken about that. Two, you get to go and play for Xabi. And if you're really good there and he goes to Madrid, Who's to say he doesn't return back to Leverkusen in a few years' time and drag your ass across to Real Madrid? So if I'm Sepp Vandenberg, I'm going over to Germany to play for Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League. Yeah, it would be a very easy decision for me if I was in his shoes. But, again, from our perspective, from the selling club side, £25 million is delicious. It's really good business. Jamal, I did miss Jamal's super chat. Cheers for alerting me to that one, mate. Appreciate you. Jamal, apologies, bro. I'm bringing it up on screen now. So Jamal said, Palace just sold Anderson. Gomez goes there. Did they sell him? Because I had him in my FPL team for the weekend and I knew we didn't play. So, interesting. I mean, if I'm Gomez, Jamal, I'd probably look a little bit higher than Palace, with all due respect. If Villa and Newcastle were sniffing around and I was Joe Gomez, I'd certainly look at those two options more favourably than I would moving to Crystal Palace. I guess if he moves to Crystal Palace, though, he does have the ability to be back in London. You know, he came to us from Charlton, so interesting. So Crystal Palace have agreed that Anderson deal with Fulham to give them a stronger position on Guehi will cost Newcastle more now. Palace aren't stupid enough to sell both centre-backs. Again, I think that's a fair show. That is mad though, because if you said to me a month ago that a Premier League club was going to offer Crystal Palace £65 million for Marc Guehi, I would have said 100% they take the money, because I think it's a fair number. But Glasner, Parish, they are building something at Palace with some of the talent they have. Wharton there, Eze still there. Fair play. It definitely is a ballsy move. And again, Jamal, apologies about initially missing your super chat, mate. Ikram said Gomez for 40 million is a steal. He is worth 60 million, no cap. How many players can play in 5 different positions competitively or competently? This is why we are insane if we let him go. Also, I'd keep Nat Phillips. So, on the valuation, I'm kind of probably somewhere in the middle of what you've spoken about there, Imran. Or Ikram, excuse me, my friend, Ikram. On top of that, I think we'd have to take into account that there is a respect on Liverpool's side for the service Joe has given the club. So I think we won't be overly fussy if it's a move that Joe would like and it's a number Liverpool can live with. But let's wait and see. I agree though, I wouldn't be moving him on. I'm with you, especially if you sell Sepp. Doesn't make much sense to me unless Joe has told you very clearly he wants to go. Right, my friends, you know what I'm going to ask you to do now, right? We've had this brilliant run of every live stream hitting 1,000 likes for almost 2 weeks now. So if you haven't, please do take one little second and hit that like button for me as well. Also want to just bring up this charity fundraiser that some friends of ours from our community are putting on. It is the Greater Manchester Blood Bikes. They basically transport blood for people who are in need of blood transfusions in hospitals and stuff like that. You can find the link for that in the description of this stream, or you can just go to their Just Giving page with that information on the screen. Every single penny goes to a really good cause, and again, we're happy to support such things on the channel. So again, if you can make a small donation, please do. It is a very worthwhile cause. There we go. We've just got above the 1,000. Ba-boom. We love that. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Right, let me go back through my notes here because I know I've missed out on a lot of stuff. What's this one? So Amazon Prime Video are apparently among the streaming platforms in discussions to purchase the Liverpool documentary series which captured Jurgen Klopp's final season as manager. It is weird that nobody got that yet. I mean, I'm looking forward to watching that and seeing. Apparently, what I'm able to understand is there's not too much behind the scenes in the dressing room stuff, but there's a lot about players at home and their families and the unity at the club and that side of things. But it'd still be an interesting watch, and I'd very much like to watch it. Unbelievable, 25 million for Sepp, said Alex. Eli Wood said Sepp for 25 million is wild. So Kenny Dalglish is also getting something from Amazon Prime for next year. Nice. Thank you for sharing that, Mark. Yeah, it's good value. 25 million's good, isn't it? Although these things sound great, but we still need to make sure that the squad is strengthened. That's sales are good for good numbers, as long as that money is put back into strengthening the squad for Arne Slot. So let's wait and see. We've got 10 days, 1 hour and 3 minutes to go in the transfer window as we see here. And again, sales are heating up a little bit, but at what point do we see the movement with regards to incomings? Obviously, Mamardashvili looks like that one's getting closer, but that's for next season. So we need what we need now. Craig, did you see Bezos' brother as part of the group who bought into Liverpool? Nope. No, I don't know much about them or Jeff Bezos' brother either. So again, just going to keep an eye on this poll. We've nearly had, we're heading towards 3,600 votes now. So we've had a lot more votes than that YouGov poll. And again, the reflection from the Anfield Agenda audience is very, very, very different from what the Echo published earlier on as the result of Liverpool fans' happiness with the current owners. So you still have time to vote. The question is, are you happy with FSG as owners? Overall, not just in this window, their overall ownership. We'll leave it up to you to decide. I haven't tried to influence this one bit as the stream has gone on. So cast your vote, and at the end, we'll see what the numbers are. What time are you going to end the stream at? Probably about another between 30 and 45 minutes. I usually try to go till about 10:30, 11:15. Going into year 10 this year, Craig, very nervous for my exams. Any advice? I don't know what year 10 is, mate. Our schooling is a bit different with the numbering. So for us, it's junior infants, senior infants, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th class. Then you come out of the junior school, you go into secondary school. You've got 1st year, 2nd year, 3rd year. 4th year is some schools you have to do it, some schools you don't. Then you've got 5th and 6th year for your senior cycle exams. So I don't, what's 14, 15, okay. Any advice? Yeah, don't let it define you. So I said the same to my own daughter. School exams are of course important, and your education is important. But no matter what happens, you'll find your way in life to something that you enjoy, something that you're good at. Not everybody is academically clever. A lot of people have incredible ability to do mechanical things or engineering. For me, certain things I was really good at in school, like French and business studies, I got A's in my leaving certificate in those. Other things like Irish or English or geography, history, I was terrible. But it doesn't define you, bro. Your exams don't define you, and there's always another path forward. If you don't get the results you want, maybe you have to go the longer way round, but don't let it get into your head. It is what it is. If you can put your head in your pillow and know you've studied your best and you've given it as much as you can, that's it. That's all you can do. What have we got? Don't overstress. Exactly. I would agree with all of that. Don't overstress on it. And do you know what else? I don't think it's fair that youngsters at the ages of, let's say, 15 to 17 or 18 are expected to know what they want to do with the rest of their life. It is mental. So don't stress out about anything. I found my way to doing this in my mid-30s after a whole smorgasbord of jobs ranging from DJing to working for an online gaming company to managing a car park to working in a cafe. I've worked in pubs, hotels. You'll find your way in life as long as you go out with an open heart and a positive outlook and take some chances. What are your thoughts on Georgi Mamardashvili to Liverpool? I think it's brilliant. I think it's incredibly clever succession planning from the club, because if we wanted to replace Alisson in the same window that we might lose Alisson, I would dare to say that that would be an expensive task. But by doing it now, opportunistically, it's brilliant. And 30 million euro seems like a very, very, very good fee for a goalkeeper that we believe will be the successor to the greatest goalkeeper in the world, who we paid 66 million quid for. So it's just good business. Craig, aren't you worried about the match after Brentford, which is United at Old Trafford? I am. I'm worried, mate. I'm worried about whether we'll score 4 or 5. Because I'm not worried about playing Manchester United. I'm not. I know. I probably should be. But I don't really rate them under Ten Hag. I just don't. It's always difficult to go to Old Trafford, no matter what. But it doesn't hold the same fear as it did 10 years ago. And we are more than capable of going there and beating them. So, I'm not worried. Let's just worry about Brentford and show them the respect they deserve, and then we'll talk about United. What are your thoughts on why we haven't considered Vitinha? So, in all honesty, Dotsy, I don't have enough knowledge of Vitinha to give you a balanced answer. Yeah, sorry, mate. Being honest with you, I just don't know enough about him. When will I trim the brow? I don't know. I don't really overthink it, mate. Like, it's fucking magnificent. Look at it. I don't know. When I'm bored someday, maybe. It helps with my expression making, though, you know? See? I can pull a few funny faces with the eyebrows, so. What are your thoughts on George Mamardashvili to Liverpool? Amazing. Honestly, I think it's brilliant. I think it's very clever. I think he looks the part. He's only 23. Yeah, I think it's really good. I'm going to certainly keep more of an eye on him at Valencia this year and pay more attention to their games. Yeah, good business. Stuart Atwell is the ref on Sunday with Michael Oliver on VAR. Oh, what could possibly go wrong with Stuart Atwell? By the way, I don't know if we've spoken about this or not. That referee that took away that glorious free kick from Eze should be demoted. Idiotic decision. For a couple of reasons. One, the foul probably should have been going in the other direction if it was a foul. Two, I don't know what was to be gained from blowing the whistle before the phase of play ended. And most importantly, he robbed Eze of what would have been an incredible free kick. An incredible bit of opportunistic genius from Eze. It was mental. And that's week 1 of the Premier League, folks. Week goddamn 1. And we're already seeing the shenanigans. Did you hear United may go in for Ederson if they don't get Ugarte? I would be amazed, like I said to you about us, if Atalanta even entertain selling him. If Coop Miners goes to Juventus, there's no way they're going to weaken themselves again going into another Champions League season by removing Ederson as well. I think Ederson might be a next summer thing for them. They want Matt O'Reilly from Celtic, according to reports. Yeah, I'd be amazed if Atalanta sell their 2 midfielders in this one window. I think it would be just silliness, and I don't think Gasperini put up with it. Do I honestly think that any signings will come in for this season? I have to believe. Because if I'm led to believe that these are intelligent people, I can't believe that they think we don't have to get a signing in. So let's see what happens in the next 10 days. A couple of super chats I have to get back to. Essex Copite said, do you think we revisit Anthony Gordon to Liverpool? 100% yes. But I want to be clear. I don't know if anything's going to happen this summer. But even if he signs a new deal at Newcastle, I'd love to know if there's a clause in that if Liverpool come knocking. Because the admiration from our side is real. So yes, I do think it's revisited at some point. Don't know when, whether it's this year, next year, but yes, I do think it gets revisited. Matthew, over in Sweden, says, thoughts on the Brentford game, and has Mo surprised you? So, on the Brentford game, I'm looking forward to it. I don't think it'll be easy. I think we'll beat them by a couple of goals. Has Mo surprised me? No. But if Mo's still doing this at the end of the season, I'll be surprised. Mo always starts seasons well, particularly when he has had a good pre-season. And we know how well he looks after himself physically. He is a specimen of a human being, an absolute Adonis of a man who looks after himself magnificently well. But historically, if my memory's right, he does fade away in the second half of the season. And the big caveat is, and I'm going to link this into what Graham Souness has had to say, if he knows he's leaving Liverpool and it gets to the business end of the season, is he going to put his body through the rigours if he feels knocks and niggles? Is he going to be 100% committed into going for 50-50 challenges? I don't know the answer, but I know in human nature, if you've got a big pile of cash that's dependent on you not being out injured for 6 or 9 months, or I don't know about that. Now, the reason I'm bringing it back to what Graham Souness had to say, because he's had to say something quite out there, to be honest with you. Where is it in my notes? So, this is what he had to say about Mohamed Salah. Is he going to go to war when the going gets tough and you have to turn it up when it really matters? But in saying that, I was having a bit of banter with a friend of mine, and he put him in Liverpool's greatest team ever. Now, when I initially read that, I thought Souness was talking about what I was talking about. But he isn't. He's talking about Mo in the big games, full stop. And he doesn't think that Mo is willing to go to war in the big games. I disagree with him on that. I think Mohamed Salah has shown up against United and has shown up in big games. So I don't know what Graham Souness is on about in that, but I do think if he knows he's leaving Liverpool, it's human nature. So I'd be very surprised if he has a full, flawless season. And I'd also be very surprised if his future doesn't become a big distraction as we get closer to Christmas and the links to what the next step in his career is. So you can get rid of some of that by giving him a new deal. So if he signs a new deal, then we could have a very good season with Mo. Harry said, is there a player you miss watching at Liverpool? Oh God, yes. Luis Suarez, without a shadow of a doubt. He's probably the most skillful player I've ever seen. The only man who could nutmeg a mermaid. Luis Suarez. Stevie G, of course. There's many players I miss watching at Liverpool. Robbie Fowler. Look, I could go on and on and on. Yes, there's loads. And Bobby, of course, as well. You know, Bobby Firmino is my type of guy. Like, just doesn't give a shit. Shows up with a baseball hat, a furry coat, and a pair of Crocs. That's my Bobby. So yeah, loads of them. Did you know that Suey didn't even pick himself in his greatest team ever? Well, that in itself's madness, because he should be in it. Yeah. Moonhead said, to not make signings this summer and lose VVD, Salah and Trent next summer and be left with nothing would be a disaster. This window should be the one for investment. So baffling. So, of course I agree with what you've said. But there's a long way to go before we lose all those three for free next summer. So, I'd be quietly confident that Trent and Virgil get sorted. No idea what to expect with the Mo situation. And with regards to investment this summer, I absolutely agree with you, my friend. Essex Scotwhite said, so, don't know if you're a wrestling fan, but I'll be pulling double duty as a fan on Sunday. First Liverpool versus Brentford, then AEW, all in at Wembley. Be keeping you and the effing doubters and haters, F the haters. So, up until about maybe my mid-30s, I watched it religiously. Went to lots of wrestling shows when they were in Ireland. Never outside of the WWE or the WWF when I was growing up. Never really got into the whole WCW, AEW stuff when they were all separated. So don't know too much about AEW. But yes, I was a huge wrestling fan growing up. And thank you again for your super chat, my friend. Harry said, wish we got to see Maka, Thiago and Dom play together. That would be incredible, yeah. Yeah, that would be absolutely incredible. Stargirl, so Craig, I don't think Salah wants to go to the Saudi League. If he retires anywhere, it'll be USA. He loves big audiences. So, there's certain things I can't really speak of. And one of them is how strong somebody's faith and religious beliefs are to their decision making. Because I'm not a religious person. So I don't know if the lure of familiarity with regards to culture, weather, and other things that would be more favourable to Mohamed Salah and his family that maybe Saudi would provide. On top of course, the adulation and superstardom that would come with being there. But the one thing I would say is he definitely isn't at the stage where he should be thinking about it if it's for anything other than money. If he wants to go to earn ridiculous amounts of money, that's a personal decision. But from a playing perspective, he still has a lot more to give at the top level. I think he's got easily 2 to 3 years left in Europe that he can do it at the top level. Especially as he adds more strings to his bow, his assisting, his decision making, things that he is improving on definitely. While he's maybe lost a yard of pace and can't go past a man like he used to, other aspects of his game have certainly matured. So yeah, I think whatever he does, I just want him to be happy, because he's given us many years of happiness and incredible service to the club. Incredible. So he deserves all the respect in the world. I know some people have felt like I've had agendas against Salah. I really haven't. I've only ever called him out when I view like his levels have dipped, because I hold him to a higher standard than I hold others, because he is a superstar. So I've never had an agenda against him. I've never been overly in love with him. I've been somebody who's just appreciated what I'm seeing. But I'm very, 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 very annoyed that we have allowed this situation where once again a player who served us incredibly well, could walk out the door for free. Didn't like it with Firmino. Didn't like that we only got 30 odd million for Mane. Doesn't sit well with me. Especially when we know we're a club that needs to try to bring in money where possible. Been a boring transfer window with no incoming, said Harry James. It has so far, mate. Yes, it certainly has. Phil said, all this money coming in, Craig, is all well and good, but we ain't willing to spend it, then it's wasted money. Absolutely, Phil. 100%, mate. If it's the build up to 2 real quick fire, bang, bang, here we go, let's get cracking signings, have at it. You know, I'm open to this window ending well. I'm hoping it ends well, but I'm not convinced it ends well. And as you said, bringing in money is all well and good, as long as we aren't talking about Arne Slot not having a centre-back if we pick up an injury, or us finishing second or third because we were a little bit short in midfield over the course of a long season. So yeah, if it's a means to an end, brilliant. But if it's just to fill up the coffers, like, I don't understand why we're selling Clark. As an example, loan him. There's 2 reasons why I say that. One, even though Liverpool have a buyback clause and a sell-on clause in there, I don't get the impression Bobby Clark's delighted about how things have gone at Liverpool at the minute. So the idea of him wanting to come back to Liverpool, if he turns out to be an absolute baller, probably minimal. But if you've loaned him out, then he's still your player. So I don't understand, for the sake of £10 million, why we were willing to sell him to Salzburg. I don't understand that. Are we that desperate for 10 million that we have to get rid of a player that has only ever looked like he has class? It's a strange one for me. Do you think we will get Kubo? No. And to be quite honest, I don't want to hear the name Real Sociedad again after the Zubimendi stuff. Because he also has a release clause, as does everybody in La Liga. But nah, I mean, he's 23, I think. So I mean, you could certainly, from a playing perspective, you could make an argument, but I'd love to see the data. I'd love to see the data that will give me a better indication, because I've only seen them in fleeting little glimpses. So I don't know. I don't know. Look, if we signed them, I trust that they've done their homework. TOTT2KZ1 said, surely we don't sell 2 centre-backs without 2 centre-backs coming. I'd be happy if we bought Hincapie and 1 centre-back on a free. Who knows? He's 3rd or 4th choice. So we still have money to sign a wide player or central midfielder in this window. I'm still not convinced we sell Gomez just yet. Until we get something concrete to say that Gomez is going to leave Liverpool in this window, I think it's still open to interpretation at this point. Was he left out of the squad against Ipswich because genuinely he wanted to weigh up his future, and Arne Slot felt like that distraction might not mean he has a clear enough head to play? Or was it Arne Slot just wouldn't have had him in the squad anyway? Or is a move near? I don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty around certain things that I couldn't sit here and say with a clear conscience, I think he goes or I think he stays. I don't know, but I want him to stay. Craig, if we only have a chance to strengthen one position, what would it be? So I've answered this question before, and some people in the comments after the video's gone live have complained to me about it. So the answer is whatever stops us conceding more goals. So if it's a number 6 who breaks up play and can help us in a double pivot moving forward, a number 6. If it's a centre-back who can be more commanding aerially and play the high line, and that helps us concede less, a centre-back. But the answer to me has to be whatever shores us up defensively. Because we've never had a problem scoring. I don't think we ever will have a problem scoring. But last year we conceded too many sloppy goals, particularly from set pieces or balls into the box, that just wound me up. So whatever one position will best help plug some gaps defensively, that. Is Zubimendi still possible? I don't believe so. I know there was some chatter, but no, I don't think so. I think over the course of time, he'll regret his decision. And ironically, I think it was 20 years ago today that we signed Xabi Alonso and Luis Garcia. And I was looking at the picture of Alonso earlier on, thinking, Zubimendi grew up idolising him, knowing the path he thread, came from Sociedad to Liverpool, obviously went on to Real and Bayern, won it all in the game, everything you can win, internationally, club level. And I think he's made a stupid decision, particularly when I watched Sociedad play at the weekend against Rayo Vallecano in a stadium that wasn't even 80% full for their opening home game of the season, which was supposed to be the big Sociedad love-in for their star boy who didn't go. He was on the bench, didn't start the game, came on and scored in the 97th minute a consolation goal to make it 2-1, and they lost. So if he wants to stay there, play in lower tier European competitions and never really challenge for top honours, fair fucks to him. But I don't believe that's why you start kicking a football around. You only get one career. And yes, to come through at your boyhood club is something special. But you can always go back and end your career and go full circle and go back to your hometown club. But it is a short career. And money, look, he'll be comfortable for the rest of his life, even if he stays on the 60 odd grand a week he's on. But success, that's why footballers play. It's for the medals. It's for the trophies. It's for the whole package combined. And I think he's too good to stay at Sociedad and see out his career there. So I think he regrets this decision longer term, but it's his decision to make and you have to respect it. Essex Copboy, thank you again, mate, for your super chat. Said, if we sell Joe and Sepp, I have a feeling Inacio and promote Nalo, not that I like it. Efresti are so cheap they would use Klarna in a charity shop. I'm not sure on Inacio. It just doesn't strike me that he plays in a system that it would suit him playing for us. It might take him too long to get up to speed. It just doesn't feel like it makes sense to me. But again, I don't know who the centre-back target is. James Delea, thank you for your thumbs up super sticker, mate. You're very kind. So, we've had this poll running for the entire stream. We're about 600 votes away from 5,000 votes, which is a big sample size. And we asked a simple question. Are you happy with Fenway Sports Group as the owners of Liverpool Football Club? Overall, are you happy? So far, with still 15 minutes or so left, 71% of the Anfield Agenda audience has said no, they are not happy, which is a long way from the 69% in the poll that was published on the Echo, that was done by YouGov and a betting company, that 69% of Liverpool fans said they were happy with the owners. I don't know where they found them, but that has not been my real world experience of chatting to Liverpool fans. I've definitely come across Liverpool fans who are happy with the owners. There definitely are some, but not 70% nearly. I think that's bullshit. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't get those results in the poll, but I don't know who the hell they were asking. Because if I even went to Liverpool and asked outside the stadium, 100 people, I don't think I'd get 70% of them saying that they're happy with the owners. Salah not in team of the year, nor was what's his face, Cole Palmer. Even though we got young player of the year, he wasn't in it. The only Liverpool player who was in the Premier League team of the year was Virgil van Dijk, and congratulations to Virgil on that one. Personally, I don't really give a damn about individual awards, because it doesn't help the club. It's great for the players, it's great to get recognition, but it doesn't count for us. That betting company went to a Man U match to ask. I honestly, as soon as I read it, I just thought, it has to be wrong. It has to be wrong. Like, I know our audience are probably more leaning towards the negativity side of FSG, but even at that, like, it seemed too high. The Echo are full of shit. I don't bother with them anymore. It wasn't the Echo that... Look, I'll read it out to you again. Like, the Echo just posted something. They didn't conduct the poll. It says, Betway have carried out a survey with YouGov and asked more than 2,000 football fans about how happy they are about the current club's ownership. Now, that's not 2,000 Liverpool fans. They said they asked 2,000 football fans. So I assume every club's fans... They asked 100 of the 20 Premier League club fans. That makes 2,000 people. I can only assume that that's what they did with the poll. They went on to say 69% of Liverpool fans net agreed that they are happy with the owners, compared to 16% who net disagreed. The word net in there confuses me. There's no way. There's just no way I'm believing 69% of the Liverpool fans are happy with the owners. I just... No. Mad thought, but Canade, Kwanzaa centre-back and VVD at number 6. Yeah, no, you were right with the first part of that sentence, mate. It is a bit of a mad one. No, I can't see that happening. No. For various reasons, mainly... It would be an absolute waste of Virgil's aerial prowess to be having him in central midfield. So no on that one. For me, that would be a no, mate. What huge deals are we eyeing exactly? Well, we're going to sign a goalkeeper for 30 million euro. We're going to sell at least one centre-back for 25 million quid. And we're probably going to sign a centre-back. So... I guess the term is open to interpretation, but all the reports today have suggested we're going to see a busy last 10 days of the window. So, again, interpret however you choose to. What's going on, man? Just tuning in. Any updates with incoming? No real strong updates, no, other than Mamardashvili, who looks like will be a Liverpool player. With one season spent on loan at Valencia, not going across to Bournemouth as we thought. It looks like he's going to stay at Valencia. And for me, guessing from the outside, I would imagine that that's where they got the compromise on the fee. That instead of paying the 40 million Valencia were demanding, Liverpool were going to pay 30 million euro and loan him back there for the season. And Valencia obviously found that a fair compromise. Deadline day on Sky will be a good watch for us. It will, if you want to be about 2 hours behind what's happening in the real world. Sure. What happened to Rio Nyamoha? Again, nothing negative that we're all aware of, but no confirmation yet. There was a five-step investigation process that the Premier League had to go through to rubber stamp the deal. As far as we're all aware, no problem showed up during that. It's just about when the announcement is made. Like, I've not seen, heard or read anything to say it isn't happening or hasn't happened. We just haven't had a confirmation of it. Have we got up to the 5,000 votes yet? No, we've still got 400 or so votes left. I can't believe I haven't said this for the whole stream, but please do hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. And don't forget to check out the Clips channel as well. I'd love to get a YouTube silver play button for the Clips channel. It's on about 31,000 now. Obviously, we need to get it to 100,000 to get that. So if you haven't subscribed to our Clips channel, you can either scan the QR code on the bottom corner of the screen or just search Anfield Agenda Clips and give us a sub on there. You're going to see the highlights of watch-alongs, some made for the Clips channel shorter content, and the best of all of our content on there as well. So if you enjoy us and you want us in more bite-sized form, then please do subscribe. What's that we got coming in here? Done that one, done that one. Done that one. Jason. Let me get Jason's comment up. Just joined in. What news have we got? Well, we've got two clubs who've now agreed £25 million with Liverpool for Sepp Vandenberg. Those clubs are Brentford and Bayer Leverkusen. And now it's up to Sepp to decide which deal he feels is best for him. So he looks like he's definitely on the way out. We've still got no clarity on what's happening with Joe Gomez. Lots of conjecture and chatter. We still don't know a definitive centre-back name that Liverpool are looking to bring in. We know that Georgi Mamardashvili is pretty close. He's going to stay on loan at Valencia for a year and then come to Liverpool in 2025. Other than that, let me just go back to what Piercy said earlier on. 1 second. No, wasn't that one. What's this one? So, James Pearce said, it promises to be a busy end to the window in terms of outgoings as Liverpool consider offers for players such as Nat Phillips, Sepp Vandenberg, Ben Doak and Tyler Morton. So Ben Doak, as I've said to you all throughout this window, is available to be sold. I don't agree with it, but that's the information that I was told. And again, James Pearce is saying similar. Tyler Morton, the very same. Then he said Cade Gordon, Bajcetic and Owen Beck have been attracting loan interest. So let's wait and see. You, my friend, I believe you're buying time for the owners. Me? Have you lost the plot? I mean, do you guys want to tell him or will I? If there's one fucking man on this planet that is not in any way sympathetic or buying time for FSG, it's me. I'm the guy who coined the phrase, "Where's the money, John?" I'm the guy blackballed by the football club because I've spoken out against the owners a lot. I'm not that guy, bro. I'm the very, 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 very opposite of that. Wow. Talk about getting it wrong or coming in and reading the room wrong. That's funny. That's made my evening. Fuck me. Yeah, that's hilarious, honestly. I get in a lot of trouble, mate, for my views on the owners. I'm definitely not in any way buying time for them at all. Didinho said, that's a stupid comment. Craig is the most vocal against the owners for their stingy ways. It really is, mate. You obviously don't know anything about this channel if that's the conclusion you've come to. The Faceman Network said, I don't understand what the strategy they're trying to accomplish at this point via shaping the squad for a slot. To my amateur eyes, it looks like they a lack of, I don't know what you mean by there, frankly. It's a risky strategy if the plan is to do a lot of incomings and outgoings right at the end. Very, very risky. If it comes off, hey, I'll come on here and say well done. But if it doesn't, excuses I don't think are going to wash with a lot of Liverpool fans at the moment, because we've had plenty of time. So for everyone asking me what's happening, I'm going to record a summary video after the stream, And I'll do it every day between now and the end of the transfer window. So you don't have to sift through 2 hours of the stream to figure out what we've been talking about. So as soon as I finish this stream, I'll record an 8 to 10 minute video summarising everything we've spoken about. And hopefully that'll give you a chance to just get the bullet points that you need. Would I take Alan Varela? Personally, yes. But I don't know if he fits into the way Arne Slot wants to play. I don't understand enough about his desires for the type of midfielder he wants. But look, he's a good name. Thought of highly. Described, ironically, as a bit like the next Javier Mascherano. Playing at Porto, right age profile. Yeah, it would be a signing that if the club wanted it, I'd certainly understand it. But then again, I'm just buying time for the owners. Oh, God. Change that t-shirt now with that slogan to, don't worry about the money, John. Don't worry about the money. You keep the money, John. You keep the money. Raccoon said Craig Varela is the best choice. He's better than Zubamendi. So I don't know enough about him on an intricate level, but I certainly wouldn't be against the idea of Alan Varela. Grafenberg looked outstanding for me against Ipswich. Not saying he could do it across 38 games, but definitely looked good. Yeah, he certainly looked promising. No doubt about that. He's not the finished article, but you can see how he could be moulded into the role. But it still leaves you short if he picked up a knock or something like that. Interestingly, there's been no talk of Waturo moving on over the last couple of days. So if he doesn't, it'll be interesting to see how he's reintroduced to the squad. Who's this from? Oh, I mean, some of the other Spanish reports saying 2 to 3 days we should have a deal done for Mamardashvili. Right, ladies and gents, I'm going to go record that video now that I mentioned, the summary of all of the day's news. So it's going to be up before 11 o'clock, so do give it a view if you get a chance. Also, don't forget, our live show tickets are on sale right now. 224 tickets available, I believe. If you want to come and see us, this is the only show we're going to do is ever going to be in Liverpool. We're going back to Liverpool for the shows. This one's November the 15th, all ages event. You can get your tickets in the description or with the link at the top of the chat. Let's end this poll and see what you guys think. So with almost 4,800 votes after leaving it up for a good hour and 50 minutes, our numbers very much do not match the numbers with the YouGov poll that the Echo spoke about. 71% of our audience, with over 4,700 votes cast, said that they are not happy with the owners, and only 28% are happy. Make of that what you will, but it is exactly what I expected when we put the poll up. So thank you for watching. Keep an eye out for the video. And again, don't forget that podcast episode with Jack Gill is out on whatever podcast platform you listen to your podcasts on. Thanks a million for your support as always. We'll talk to you tomorrow.